there's something that happens, and maybe it's unique to being an actor, that you allow yourself to have that experience. It's thrilling.
Welcome to Scream Dreams, the nightmares that shaped us, where we sit down with your favorite filmmakers and creatives to talk about their nightmares and the things that really terrify them. I'm Catherine Corcoran.
And I'm James A. Janice, and our guest today is Lin Shaye.
Hello.
Hi, Lin.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You've really run the gamut. I mean, as an actress, you've worked in development and production. Did you always know that you were going to work in film?
No, I really did not.
Really?
I mean, it sort of goes way back, but I mean, I always loved pretending to be other people. When I was little, for real. This was the truth. I've told this story before, but I didn't have a lot of kids around my house when I grew up, so I used to spend a lot of time by myself in my room, taking all my clothes out of the closet and dressing up. I had 2 long mirrors in my bedroom, and I had a lot of stuffed animals, and honestly, that was how I entertained myself. I would make up stories with the bears and all my stuffed animals and me in different outfits and pretending to be other people. And it was a little bit schizophrenic, I guess, at the time. But my parents were not worried about me because I was normal in pretty much every other way. But and I always enjoyed doing plays in school, so I always enjoyed voices and doing other kinds of just pretending like a real child.
Mm-hmm.
Gratefully, I was able to, given the leeway to do that. It's a little different now with the phone.
Sure.
Everybody has got a phone from the time they're about 1.
You never have the downtime to get bored
and
and have to be creative.
No, and this was really, I feel very lucky that I grew up when I did, and I had the parents that I did. And I was given a lot of imaginary freedom.
Yeah.
And so as I got older and I was in high school and college, I was always in plays. And it literally, when I graduated from University of Michigan.
I didn't know you're Wolverine. You went to U of M?
Yeah, baby.
Oh wow! I didn't. Yeah, me too.
Oh my God! Well, hi.
Yeah, I'm class of 2011. I'm sure that I knew that at one point because I always will clock
way
it.
Before you, but
Sure.
I was a U of M
I thought
graduate.
you were there at the same time. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, we can get real. It's fine.
How'd you wind up at U of M?
Well, I was from Detroit. That's where I lived.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry that I didn't. I should have just I was running late this morning, so I didn't do my usual
No, that's
reading.
That's fine. I lived in Detroit, Michigan.
In the city, or
yeah. Well, I lived on a street called Fairfield, which was between 6 and 7 Mile Road, and between Hamilton and Curtis, or whatever. I can't remember the exact dimension, way the streets were positioned. But I lived in the same house my whole life till I went to college, and I went to Mumford High School in Detroit.
Okay.
And from there, everybody. Gratefully, I was able to get into Michigan. Yeah. Because I was a resident, but I mean, it was a really hard school to get into. My grades were not that great. They were okay, but they weren't University of Michigan kind of great. But I did get into Michigan, and I was there for 4 years and loved every minute of it.
Did you live on campus during your time there?
I did, yeah. I lived at Stockwell Dorm.
Oh, cool.
And Alice Lloyd. Those were my 2 dorms.
Oh, yeah, and they were the women-only dorms,
yes,
right?
Yes, they were. We were women only. And I remember our house mother, too, who was a piece of work. But that's I think I played her once in something I did. She was the classic house mother.
Like you took her on? Like you played that character?
Kind of. I mean, I just
inspired by.
Yeah, I was inspired by, exactly.
Yeah.
But so I lived, and then we had, we were allowed to have private housing after the first 2 years after you were a sophomore. Mm-hmm. So, but I graduated from Michigan, and I loved every minute of it. And they had great theater department.
Yes.
It was because APA was there with Ellis Rabb, who was, most people don't even know who he was or what APA was, but it was a theater company with really fantastic actors. I mean, just, and so I was always interested and involved in theater at Michigan. And what I started to say is when I graduated, I actually got a master's I was an art history major.
Okay.
And I got a job at so art history was sort of my thing, and I got a job at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in the registrar's department, which was my first job. And I remember sitting down in the basement and thinking, when am I going to be in a play? It was like, and I thought and literally it dawned on me, well, maybe I should be an actress. So I quit my job and I applied to graduate school, and I got into graduate school in theater at Columbia.
Okay.
And spent 3 years in New York doing theater and sort of segueing into off Broadway, which was just getting started at that time. And I don't think I was never not in a play. I mean, I just was starving to do that. And being a little girl and pretending with my bears really paid off. So, and then sort of segued into professional theater. I got my equity card in 1970.
Oh, wow.
71 at the I forget the name of the in Brooklyn. We did a 5-hour production of The Screens, which was a French. It was a translation of a French play by Jean Genet, and I had one line as in Arabic, but I had to get my equity. I got my equity card from that. So the Chelsea Theater Center is where it was done, and very slowly I just got into more things, and we had a theater company at some point, and I've had a wonderful, wonderful career so far, and hope for much, 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 many, many, many more. Many, many, many more.
Do you still do stage acting?
Well, funny you should ask. I had not at all for a long time. We did have a theater company here in LA, but this was years ago now. And about a year ago, or maybe it was longer than that, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I started writing about my life in 1968, which was the year that was for many people. I had a very interesting life. I was a real hippie. I lived in San Francisco, and I started writing about it. And it was like 10 pages. At first, I thought it would be a short film, to open with opening day one, cut two, and it was not in any format. And I put it away. I only did 10 pages, and it wasn't done. And I thought, let's try and raise money for a film, whatever. So I ended up showing it to people, various people, different directors, and that's very nice. It's very good. But nothing was happening. And literally last year, I even showed it to my manager, and I don't think she ever even answered me, which was
wow.
But anyway, long story short, it got better later. But so last year, I went to a one-man show that actually my manager's friend. He's not a client. His name is Robert Galinsky. He lives in New York, and he does a fantastic one-man show. He's a very interesting man. He teaches acting. He teaches acting to inmates at Rikers Island.
Cool.
He's really got a fascinating history. So he was in LA. He had done a one-man show about, this was in particular about his events at Riker Island.
Yeah.
And so Gina called me and she said, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, I thought, all right, this is a lesson to always go. Don't ever not go. It's better to go. So I thought, all right, so I have nothing really to do. But I had seen his work before and I thought he was great, but I wasn't up for it really. It was, post-COVID, whatever. Anyway, I went to see his show. It was wonderful, as I knew it would be. And just as we were leaving, I said, "Robert, would you want to look at 10 pages of something I wrote?" He said, "Yeah, send it to me." Sure. He was really positive. So, because he's that guy. He's a doer and he's a positive. I got to know him better. He's one of the most positive, wonderful people on the planet, literally.
And someone who will actually read what you say.
Yeah.
Totally.
And doesn't call you back and say, "Yeah, so it was great," but he's trying to read it while he's telling you that. So, and the next morning, I got a little note from him, and he said, "Keep writing." So he said, "It's great. Keep writing." So we scheduled Zoom calls twice a week, and we worked on it. I worked on it for probably about 6-7 months, and ended up with about 36 pages. And we thought we should do let's do a reading of it. You know, let's just read it. We'll get a theater, we'll get a lectern, we'll invite people. And we suddenly realized we were in the middle of the Fringe Festival getting ready to start, which is a theater festival here in LA, which I was sort of aware of, but not very. And the Hudson Theater, which is where Robert had done his one-man show, was a part of the festival. And Zeke, who runs the theater, a wonderful guy, said, do it here. You know, yeah, let's do it. So we scheduled 5 performances in LA of a reading, basically. But the reading kept growing because then I started acting out the different characters, because it's about my mom, my dad, it's about my young marriage on a motorcycle, basically, you know, that took place in upstate New York, a psychedelic wedding.
Oh my
I mean, there was a
God.
lot of crazy stuff
Very
that
easy
happened.
rider of you.
I
Really,
know.
I mean, the whole it was, and I
Liz,
realized there
this
was
is
a
not
real.
where these boots. I knew they had.
But there was a real story there.
Yeah.
So to cut to the chase, so we ended up doing 5 performances in LA. This is a long answer to your question. And we thought, everybody said, you should do this in New York, because it was an hour long. It was a perfect fit for a no intermission show. Robert lives in New York, and there was a new group of theaters on 44th Street called Theater Row. And we booked the theater for a 99-seat house, and we just did the show in New York for 6 weeks. We wrapped the show end of October.
Okay.
So, yes, I just did theater.
That's great. How'd it feel to be back in
Oh
the
my
medium
God.
that you came up in?
You know, I thought about that every night before we started the show, and especially because it was only me. It wasn't. I had nobody to hide behind.
Yeah.
And we had like a bank, some music that was set up obviously before as the audience comes in and stuff, and it was all 60s stuff, Janis Joplin and Big Brother and Rolling Stones and all the stuff I still really love. And I thought, oh my God, I have to go out there, and I have to, and it's really a swell. It's very emotional. It's a swell of energy that I don't think you get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Not before the camera rolls, not before not before you get married. I mean, there's something that happens, and maybe it's unique to being an actor that you allow yourself to have that experience. It's thrilling, literally thrilling. And some nights were better than others, and of course, unfortunately, it was during the strike. So we couldn't promote the show in New York. And it was really fast. We only had like 3 weeks. We wrapped in LA August 27th, and I think we opened in New York September 8th was our first preview. So literally it was like 2 weeks we had to pull everything together. And so it never really, we didn't really have a lot of lead time, but it was very well received, but we did not have the audiences we were hoping for because we couldn't promote my films.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed. And so people don't know my name. I mean, I'm not that kind of an actor, basically, but people know my work. But we couldn't promote that.
Yeah.
We couldn't promote something about Mary and Kingpin and all these films that I did a long time ago, but that people know me from. So it was not as filled as I would have loved to. It could have been, I think, if we'd had more lead time, more money for promotion. It was all that. But I had a fantastic experience, and I love doing the theater. I love theater.
Whoa.
Oh, do you feel that?
Yeah.
I think Barbara Crampton is coming to join us.
I think so. It feels a little different. It feels a little, I don't know.
It's a little taller.
Yeah.
I don't know
Feels
why.
a little blonde.
Yeah.
A little blonder, a little larger of a presence today. Maybe she's wearing heels.
Oh.
Huh.
Whoa.
You're not Brian Collins. What are you doing here?
I think me and Barbara got our dimensional stuff mixed up.
Oh man, that happens.
Does she now have white
She
short
might.
hair?
Yeah, she might. That would be sad for
I heard
her.
you guys went to the same salon. It was a whole mix-up.
Yeah. She might be at work right now trying to figure out how to write reviews. Well, I mean, I'm here. Hello, Lynn.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Always
as
a
well.
delight, even if it's some weird like
In a puff of
this. I'm
smoke.
sorry if you're expecting to talk to Barbara or whatever.
You're gonna have to fit into her From Beyond outfit. So.
I know. That's what happened. That's what was planned for the show today. So
Not at all disappointing for the viewing audience, I'm sure, to see me walk out on that one. Well,
You both have good complexions.
that's true. We have the same initials.
That's
Same
true.
initials.
That's true. Close.
so yeah.
I did fill in for her on Young and the Restless for a
Gratefully,
while.
she has no beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could pull off a beard, I think.
Just
If anybody could do it, Barbara could.
I think
gratefully
so,
she
too.
doesn't have one. That's all I'm saying.
I just rewatched a movie of yours last week,
What is that?
Critters 2.
Sal.
And you were a delight in it.
Thank you.
It's one of those weird things where you show up for the monsters, but you're like, I kind of just want to watch like her story and like what she's doing throughout the movie.
She's
Like
a-
the
I-
monster stuff I've seen in a million other movies. I can watch a monster kill somebody any day, but I can't see you just hamming it up and having a ball, just like being the
Hamming
town.
it up?
Hamming it up. just being an absolute delight in every scene.
Thank you.
Working with Barry Corbin.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Such
yeah.
a great cast in that movie.
Barry is
Yeah.
great. And Emmett Walsh actually played the same character.
Yep.
He played in the first one.
Yep.
And then Barry took it over for the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was grateful I was in both of them.
Yeah.
And Sal is quite a loving, wonderful person. I love her. She has a lot of me in her. A lot of screaming.
Was there ever any talk of you doing the third one or no?
No, I don't think there really was.
Okay.
It was-
I mean, the first two are the best ones.
Well, and I mean, I think we had the second one because the first one was so successful and people loved the critters. And they really are. I mean, I've rewatched the films. They're scary. There's something really. It's partly the Chiodo brothers who did such
Yeah.
a spectacular job
Yeah.
in creating a little entity that you'd be scared of, but also find somewhat amusing and cuddly. You know, they were really. It's really a masterful evil. I mean, it's really he created a kind of a. I mean, I wish they were still around, the critters. I think there's still room for them somewhere in something. And I love the character. I mean, she started out, in the office, and then we gave her an Easter bunny hat for Easter. It was really fun. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well, we're putting it out there. Critters. Well, wasn't there just a remake?
There was Critters Attack with
Yeah.
D
Yeah.
a few years ago, and then there was a show.
Yeah, that's
the
what I was
new
thinking about.
batch. Yeah.
I sort of missed that whole. I mean, I never really after the third one, or after the second one, actually, I kind of just whatever was
Well, the
next.
third one has Leo.
Yeah.
Leonardo
You
DiCaprio.
could've worked
It
with
does.
Little Leo.
Yeah.
That's
Little
true.
baby
Well,
Leo.
so we're putting it out there. Leonardo DiCaprio and Lynn. I think there's a team
Doubleheader.
up for Critters.
Critters 6.
The-
Six,
I
yeah.
forgot
the
I
prequel.
forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
Very young. Very young.
Crazy.
He's gonna get off Killers of the Flower Moon and jump right into Critters. I think that's the next Oscar push.
Critters of the Flower Moon.
The Critters of the Flower Moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never met him, but I'm a big fan. So anytime he's
Leo,
ready to
if you're
jump in,
listening, you are
if he
definitely
jumps
not,
in,
but
I'm
if
ready.
you
I'm
are.
jumping in too.
Should we get our game going?
Yeah.
Barb-
Since you're here.
Yeah, Barbara. I'm sure Barbara would appreciate if I kept her game going for her. But I do need my
Did she send
glasses.
you with it?
Yeah, very, very perceptive of her to send me with the game. So you can cut this. Am I explaining it, or you guys explain it?
You explain.
You
it.
explain
Okay.
it. Okay. The objective part, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So just basically read that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry. All right. So the objective for this game is called the name of it is called Dream or Deception, and the objective this is for our Patreon subscribers. And they've submitted some of their own personal dreams, ones that really stick out to them. And we're each going to read one dream, and two of them are going to be real, but the other one is something that we made up.
Okay.
And you're going to have to try to deduce which one is the fake dream.
Oh, okay.
The
I
other-
had
and then
no
the other
idea
two
what
are
this
real.
what was happening.
You can ask you can ask follow-up questions, but mostly you're just using your judgment of.
You know what's a nightmare? Dehydration.
Yeah. You know what's an even worse nightmare? plastic pollution.
That's why we love Liquid Death and their evil mission to murder your thirst and kill plastic pollution.
That's right. Their aluminum cans are as metal as they get. So pick some up today, because we all need something refreshing to reach for when we wake up from a nightmare.
It's true. Cheers.
I'll go ahead and read the first dream. When I was about 2 or 3 years old, I had a dream where I was in a mysterious void sitting in a chair, and then this man comes up and begins hypnotizing me. I start to fall asleep, and then all of a sudden, an army of chickens start charging at me, covering me in feathers and giving me the bird flu. I start to feel very sick, and then an army of fluffy yellow ducks comes in and starts doing the exact same thing. So now I have both chicken and duck flu. I was so ill from both bird diseases that I died. And then I woke up.
All right. And then I'm going to read one now. Recently, I've had a dream that I'm on the set of Return of the Living Dead from 1985, and the events in the film are happening on my block. I'm running to try to get home. I pass by a neighbor's house of my childhood home, and Tom Matthews' character, Freddy, is being wheeled out into an ambulance. As I go past the ambulance, he sits up and the sheet, they put the sheet over, and the sheet comes down and exposes his face, and it's got post-acid splash. It's all mangled, and he just stares directly at me, not being able to see him, just kind of like looking through him, and just says, "Brains," and then I wake up.
It says what?
Brains.
Brains? Okay.
As zombies do.
Okay.
Recently, I've also had a recurring nightmare where I find myself in a dimly lit room haunted by an evil electric fly swatter that has taken on a life of its own. It floats through the air humming and cracking in a sinister way, and every time it makes contact with something, that thing turns to dust. I'll watch it zap things for a while until it starts coming for me, and then I'll try to outrun it, but it anticipates my every move. Finally, it corners me and goes to zap me, but then I wake up, though I always feel tingling on my body after I have that dream.
So 2 of these are real dreams that people had, and 1 was something we wrote.
I kind of think the chicken one is not real. However, this one, the dream about the fly swatter, is the most linear. And so that to me is more of someone wrote it than dreamed it. But that would be my guess. But I could be wrong, but that would be my guess, because it has a more logical flow to it than the chicken dream or the Freddy dream.
How perceptive.
I know.
Yeah, you nailed it.
You got it right.
Yeah, that's the...
That's like that. These are all very odd scenarios.
Yeah. Wow.
Awesome.
Good, nice work.
I thought the chicken dream was gonna sound fake, regardless.
No, because I mean, there was a logic to your story that I don't think is not dreamlike. to me.
Yeah. Because usually things just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, the other is had a more visual explosion of.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Good job, Lynn.
Good.
Good job.
Excellent work.
And was that your hybrid chicken duck that gives the flu?
Quack quack quack.
And we should say that the chicken duck flu dream came from Jacob Schneider. And the Freddy.
That's a scary dream.
Yeah.
the Return of the Living Dead Freddy Tom Matthews brain dream came from Kiss My Flapjack.
Thank you, Flapjack.
Thank you,
Birth
Flapjack.
Well, good job. Good dreams. Good
Yeah.
dreaming.
Those are good ones.
What if somebody actually did have that fly swatter dream? They're actually listening like, what the hell?
Yeah, they're like, I don't remember submitting that.
Catherine plagiarized me.
What do you mean my dream's too linear?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for helping out in
Yes.
Barbara's absence.
Anytime. Next time, I hope Barbara makes her correct appearance. I'm sorry again about the mix-up.
Maybe you guys can come together next.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would. I'm sure she misses you guys. I'm sure she's very sad to have missed Lynn.
Oh, she doesn't miss me. She's got a lot of people around her.
Well, give her our love right after we zap you back into the ether right now. Oh. gone.
Still startles us. I didn't know the skill was multiple people in our lives can do this.
Yeah, thought it was just Barbara, but
You know.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Transcends the genre.
My dreams are often about water.
Oh.
And about, like, I just had a dream last night I was trying to remember. Water and stone. There's a lot of things about making my way up either cliffs or going through. There's a recurring dream of a space that's got, I don't know if it's like, it's hard to describe a dream sometimes. I don't know, it's kind of a closed space and I have to get through it to get to where I want to go. And I actually had a dream last night about rocks. I can't remember. I was in water. It's usually water and stone. Those are the two very prominent things I dream about. I've occasionally had scary dreams about an intruder. But I'm not sure what that means. I think it's more about, instead of like somebody, I feel very safe in my home and I feel very, I don't worry so much about people.
Okay.
But I've occasionally had a dream of like an intruder, which is scary. Like.
Yeah, maybe like similar to the COVID fear, like something you can't control but is invading
Totally,
your
but
space.
is coming into your space, kind of.
Dreams about water and stones sounds like the name of a Talking Heads album.
It does, totally.
Well, I love the Talking Heads.
Yeah.
So does my mom. It's her favorite.
But they're not often. It's not scary dreams either. But it's about just being in an element and I wish I could remember. I did, it's just like dreams. I remembered it when I woke up, and I thought, remember the dream, because it was, and of course I don't, but I just know it was.
Yeah, they dissipate so fast.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Even
you're just left with the impression.
Yeah.
Of like how it made you feel.
And I still don't understand that, like why when you know something, it's in your mind, and yet it goes away. It's just it like evaporates.
Barbara's been telling us to write down.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Have you been doing that?
Yeah,
you have been?
I mean, I'm not as good as I
I'm
want.
a bad student.
I'm a bad student. She gave you a homework assignment. We're so excited. 8-year-old you was so excited.
Well, now you've given me a homework assignment. I'm going to try.
But you know what's interesting is we're learning like so much about everyone's creative process on the show and in doing this. And like I have definitely taken things that people have told us and adapted into my own life. And I was already trying to do this, but our Nick Antosca episode, he talked about how he doesn't look at his phone for the first like 2 to 3 hours. He wakes up if he can avoid it. He won't.
I don't sleep with my phone in my room.
He won't do that.
I put it downstairs, and I don't pay any attention to it.
Just a separate alarm clock.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, if I need an alarm, I have an old-fashioned alarm clock.
Yeah.
I know. I got after that an alarm clock that it's just like it's so aggressive. But it's because if it's the same sound, I'll sleep through it. I have to change it on my phone so that I wake up. So I have an alarm clock that has a thing that slides under your mattress that shakes the bed.
Oh my God!
You have a robot that wakes
crazy.
you up?
Kind of. It's just a little like button that like goes under, but it
it makes
vibrates. Yeah. But I've found
cool.
it's sometimes kind of hard to like wake up and make myself write something down. Like Nick Antosca journals like that. Barbara does. She's encouraged us to, but like because sometimes you're like wherever you're at in the dream state, you're already there physically, and then it kind of jolts you awake because the bed is shaking. So it's hard to like
remember
what you.
I've tried to remember to do it, and I just don't. I kind of just want to lay there and let it sort of evaporate. Yeah, which is usually what kind of happens.
I don't wake up with enough time to do it. I wake up
because I wake up in a panic.
Do you dream? Do you remember your dreams though?
I have been more lately, which is really nice.
Do you dream every night, pretty much? Because they say we do, and
they say we do. I didn't
remember.
for the longest time. I never remembered them, but I feel like maybe since starting the show, and it's just been
I'm more cognizant of them.
Exactly.
I think about them more for sure.
Yeah, but no, since I tend to stay up late, so I will sleep in until the last minute when I have to get up and like go do my workout or whatever, so I don't have the time to journal. And in fact, you have a thing that wakes you up by shaking. My alarm on my phone goes off, and it won't turn off until I solve 2 math problems that are not just like simple. It's like something times something plus something,
I
and I
hate
have to do
that.
order of operations, and you have to do 2 of them.
I hate this.
And like
Well, how did
normally.
so it's on your phone.
It is on my phone, yeah, and the
Oh
alarm
my
goes
God.
off.
I never liked
and
math.
it keeps ringing
Until you
I
solve those
2
problems?
problems.
This is
That
the
is a
worst way to start my
fantastic
day.
idea.
I liked it, and
You
I
love it.
kinda
I'm
like
like,
doing
I
it,
hate
yeah.
this.
Oh
I
no,
hate
but I
this.
mean it's
Don't
because
make me do that in the morning.
it's not something I would want to do, but it definitely activates your brain. I mean,
Exactly,
we're
like,
talking about your brain. You
I'm
know?
one of those
Immediately,
people
I'm
who's
like,
like, don't talk to me in the morning. I need my coffee. I want quiet. Don't ask me to do arithmetic. Like,
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm insane for doing it.
No,
but
I think it's I think it sounds it's very new agey.
I
it
have,
works because like you
Really?
can't just hit snooze.
Right,
you know?
right,
You
you
have to
gotta-
like actively do something.
I have found though, like what I do now, and I did it before, and then I fell off, and now I'm like really regimented about it. As I wake up and I journal, I do a gratitude journal. So I wake up. This is my like routine right now when I'm on
Good
it.
for you.
I get up, I let the dog out first because it makes me walk around the block. And so I don't look at the phone. I walk around the block
man.
and am in the sunlight first. And it just makes me be present
Of
even though
course.
I'm tired.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
you know.
phone is a fucking killer.
And-
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I think it's an awful crutch that we've all gotten really stuck with.
Yeah. And then I come back in and I make my coffee and I write down, even if I don't have a lot of time, like say, I woke up a little late or whatever, I write down at least 10 things
Good for you.
that I'm grateful
That's
for
great.
because it just something about it centers the day. And
course.
part of the reason that I was interested in doing this show is because I only have nightmares. So I often wake up very frantic.
What are your nightmares? What do you? What
Oh
is-
my
what
gosh.
do
Well,
you-
this isn't about me.
No, but I want to know. I mean,
Lynn, this is
what's
yours.
No, but I mean, my nightmares are real. I don't have very many nightmares anymore. It's
That's good.
mostly, again, it's about sensation. It's about doing and going and getting through something for me. That's sort of been. I'm grateful for that. I'm not scared of I'm not scared of things. I'm not a scared person. If anything, like I said, my fear would be losing my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't remember where something is, or I don't know who someone is. That terrifies me. And that's totally could happen. I mean,
Exactly.
that's not something that's,
Do
a
you have
fantasy.
do you have any family history of?
No, I do not,
Okay,
gratefully.
well,
My dad was
that's good.
94 when he passed away, and he was getting dementia.
Okay.
But
at 94.
But that's what the doctor said. He did not have Alzheimer's.
Okay.
He just said he had oncoming dementia, which is at that age. My mom died of a heart attack, actually, but she smoked for 50 years,
Yeah.
and she didn't eat. She would walk around with I don't know if she drank or didn't, but she always had a teacup with something in it.
Oh yeah. Wow.
But she said it was tea, so I believed it. I'd see her dunk the thing, so I would assume it was tea. But I've been, as far as I know, and her family, she was originally from Russia, so I never knew my grandmother. And they had other issues that led to their death, basically. But nobody that I know. My great grandmother was 108.
Wow.
And she hid bread. She couldn't remember where she put it. So there.
Sure.
So maybe that's where it comes from.
Really?
I'm expecting. That's the fear. That's where it comes from.
But
Good
otherwise,
genes, yeah, longevity.
I'm expecting you to be in Insidious 10 at
110.
117, 110. Yeah, I'm going to. Everyone listening needs to write James Wan and demand it.
that there be an Insidious 10. Well, I just mostly it's about, again, my wish, if we're talking about wishes, is good health first. I have to be able to run up and down my stairs. I have to be able to take the dog out. I have to be able to do stuff. I had one brush with, I don't know if it was shingles. We still don't know what it was for sure, because I had no outbreak, but I had nerve pain that was on a section of my back. So we assumed it was shingles and I had the vaccines, by the way. So I don't, and I was going back into my family. As far as my mother had shingles, it's a horrible disease because it's nerve pain, which is different than any other kind of pain.
Yeah, for a long time I thought it was just like a rash. but
It's a lot more than that. Like, you know what it's like? I can describe it as like what I imagine a cattle prod or labor is like. You get these waves of immense excruciating. No, please, no. And then it subsides and it goes away. And it's fine until you move. And then it was really bad. So I pray for good health and no pain. I don't want to have pain. I don't want it, and I don't want to have it and have to hide it. I don't want to. Whatever it is, however disfigured you become as you get older and everything falls apart, I don't care. Fine, I'll smile anyway. You hope my teeth stay good. But I think that's fear of pain.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Well,
And people live in pain.
yeah.
More people than not live in pain.
Well, we're so grateful that you're not in pain and you could join us
And
today.
I've been talking for how many? 4,600 hours?
No, we could talk. I wish we could have all our guests longer. Every time we have to wrap it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could talk to you for hours.
Well, that's because you're a wonderful interviewers. You are
thank
both
you.
fabulous interviewers,
Well,
and made me so. I mean, look what I told you. Stuff I cut out the stuff you don't think is people are interested in.
I think people are going to be interested in
Well,
just
I
us.
mean, I hope I didn't feel there was something I said that was way out of line. I certainly didn't diss anybody.
Well, there was that racist joke you told that we might have to edit out.
We're just kidding. That
So
did
that's
not
the other
happen.
thing. I love everybody's people. If you're kind, if you are aware, even not being aware, kindness seems to be the key to pleasure with people.
Yeah.
There's something that you read through people who have a kindness in them. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, and
being inquisitive, you know.
And I can tell your humanism. It
Yeah,
radiates
you
off
do.
you.
You
so.
are such a kind person, and it has been
Well,
a
I can be
pleasure.
mean.
No.
Oh, well, we'll save that for the next
That's the
time.
next
Yeah, that's
one.
the sequel.
We'll save that
Thank
for
you
the
for this
next
great interview.
Thank
It was
you
appreciated.
for being here. What should we look out for you next? Where can people find out more about you?
I'm on Facebook, but I try to stay on
Yeah, I
as
know.
little as possible, and I have an Instagram account and stuff like that.
Okay.
But there's 2 movies I did, which will be released at some point. I'm not sure. One is called Scared to Death, and is with me and Bill Moseley.
Oh, great.
We love
Awesome.
Bill.
And he's great and does a great job, and it's a very entertaining, interesting film. And the other one is called now I'm blanking on the other is Scared to Death and House of Abraham, which had a different title, which I like better, which is why I can never remember House of Abraham. But House of Abraham, which is also it's with Lucas Hassel and Natasha Henstridge.
Oh, cool.
And it's very good also. They're both little horror films with lots of other energy around them, which I thought made them work really well.
You know, not to do this to you, but I just realized you've been doing horror movies for at least 40 years now with Nightmare.
Nightmare on Elm Street was
That's
my
true.
first real movie.
That's
really.
what I thought.
You're
so,
our
yeah.
second Nightmare on Elm Street guest on the Nightmare podcast.
Yeah, after Heather. Yeah.
But it was really, I mean, that came from my brother Bob Shaye, who started New Line Cinema and gave Wes Craven, that was where he did his first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
It made the company, too. It was the house that Freddie built.
House
they
that
call
Freddie
it.
built.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm very grateful for family, opportunity, and my own talent. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a part of our house that AMP has
thank you.
built.
You guys are great. And I didn't know you were a Disney kid.
Well, I never really booked any of it. I would get really far. I would screen test and stuff, but never quite. I did all the off Broadway and Broadway tours as a little kid, but not the like.
So you So you started acting when you were how old?
Oh my God. Well,
You were a
Are there
baby.
tapes
I
of
know.
you?
I'm trying. I'm trying not to make this about
You're
me.
so cute, and you've got such a great voice. You've got a Disney voice.
Oh, thank
You
you.
should
I'll
definitely-
take that any
You should
day.
totally- That is a
very
Thank you.
princessy
Thank
voice.
Yeah,
you.
totally.
Thank
You
you,
totally,
Lynn.
totally.
Thank you. No, I started. I was doing like theater. I was always a precocious kid and would play pretend, and
So we would have been girlfriends.
Yes, we totally would have. I related, and I my mom had me do basic theater acting dance classes just to give me something to do. And the equity policy at the time was that you couldn't tour with kids. So when professional shows would come through towns, they would go to like wherever there was like community theaters and things like that.
And they would,
you know, if the kids wanted to audition, they could, and I wanted to, and eventually I started booking, and like that was like, it was the best because they would like double and triple cast, so you would get to hang out with a bunch of kids for weeks, like doing Annie and The Sound of Music and Gypsy and whatever show was like coming through. And also get to be with like all the adults who really were getting like paid quite well to do it, and
learning from each other too.
And you got to miss school.
It
was like it was the
Heavenly.
best. And then I got a little older and stopped being as cute, I guess, and like decided I wanted to do it more seriously, and just kind of went from there. But yeah, it was like just playing pretend. It was really
And
nice.
are you an actor too?
Occasionally in little things.
Yes,
And
Well,
This is now the interview is shifted.
yeah.
No,
right.
I have
Lynn has
some
taken
questions.
over the show,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. I've primarily
I'm sorry.
hosted
She's now-
things.
I'm
She's now the
interested.
host. She's
Yeah.
now the host. No, you are a great actor.
Well, thank you. I hope to do more of it soon.
We all do.
Yeah,
All
that's
of us.
true.
We all
Does-
hope to
I don't
work.
think it matters how successful you are. You always want to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Totally true. Well, thank you for having me on your show. I
Thank you,
really
Lynn.
appreciate it.
Thank you for being
I was
here.
brimming over with stories, which
They were amazing.
And we
We'll have to.
appreciate that, yeah.
Hopefully, we'll have opportunities to have everyone back.
that
Yeah.
would be great too. I would appreciate it too. So thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved what this conversation as much as we did, please like, subscribe, follow. We have extended episodes on our Patreon at a early bird rate.
Mm-hmm.
Please write in. Tell us what your nightmares are. What else? I don't know. I think that's the things.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. I always
That's my
forget that.
contribution.
I never understand it.
I don't either, but I'm always glad you forget to say so I can add.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll be
good.
like, oh, ring the bell
I'm
too.
glad we have this. I'm glad we have this.
It's a good ending. It's a good because it's a beginning.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
It is. It truly is. Until next time, I'm Catherine Corcoran.
And I'm James A. Janice. Be sure to leave the light on.
Oh, yeah.
And ring the bell.
That
And
was
ring the
it.
bell.
Ring the bell.